Back to another episode of the 10-Minute Mindset. I hope you enjoyed the last episode with Ninja T. Had really good coverage from people. People really enjoyed it, so I'm really happy to hear. If you haven't watched it yet, it's the last video on the channel. Today we have a travel vlogger, a very inspirational guy. Nikko Hunt travels, works with videographers across the globe, and uses his camera as his weapon to make a change. Enjoy the video. Let's go. So, hello and welcome to another episode of the 10-Minute Mindset. Today we have a good friend of mine and I'm really excited for this. We've got Nikko Hunt. Nikko is a global travel videographer. He spends his time globetrotting, taking videos and working with other famous videographers. Most famously, he's worked with Zach Alsop, Logan Paul, and Yes Theory, to name a few. And now he's really focused on building his own personal brand as he looks to make his work a wider influence to more of a global audience. Nikko, please tell us, what inspired you to get involved with making videos?
Let me tell you, Leithamshire, you're a gorgeous human being. Wow. So last year, actually, I moved to France and I was trying to pursue athletics. And in this time, I was by myself, completely alone. And I started making vlogs to send back to my family. Because I was like, how am I going to share this beautiful place that I'm living in? I had no family connections out there or friends at the time. And so I said, how can I share this with my family? So I made videos. And then I took a trip to Indonesia, my first trip alone, traveling. And I took my camera with me. And what I got out of taking my camera to a place that I had no idea about was just completely extraordinary, because I had my camera and I could interact with people in a way that I could never have done without something like that. So the camera was like a catalyst for conversation, a catalyst for getting to know the locals on another level. And once I saw that magic that you could have in a completely foreign environment, I was hooked. And I was like, wow, I've got to start making more and more videos. So yeah, that was my real inspiration, is seeing and doing stuff that I would never have done before if I had not had a camera.
Awesome, man. And you mentioned how you were like a professional athlete as well, and like obviously it happens a lot, people pursuing paths in maybe what they thought they were going to do and then suddenly having like a realization. What do you think creating videos and doing that makes you feel like and do over something like your athletics that you used to do?
Okay, so when I did athletics, it was a very narrow sort of path. It was like the athletes do athletics. But in a creative field with video, I can pull in and be a platform for people who do fashion, for people who do music, for people who do other creative work as such. So I can bring it all together. I can like congeal this piece of art that takes parts from other people's lives and puts it together into one thing. So in that respect, I could connect with more people. So that was the amazing thing that set it above athletics for me. And for me, I always wanted to travel. So being able to do this, I could link with people and communicate with people on an amazing level, especially now with the internet and things like that. It's mad.
Definitely. That's awesome. And like, you've definitely clearly got some really core values about what you do. So I know a lot of your work isn't just any ordinary videographing, any just videoing anything. No. What would you say are like the main themes around what you video and what inspires those themes?
So the main themes generally are, so I'm very passionate about sustainability. I'm very passionate about the environment. But one of my main things is inspiring people to show them that they have the ability to do what I'm doing. It's not like I'm saying I'm not nothing special. And people have this energy within them that they can give by perhaps being inspired by other people. So I wanted to be that person who could inspire them to create. And because everyone's a creator, man. Every single person has the ability to create. I feel like we've suppressed it in people. I think like I want to be that person, like take it out of you and say like, look, you can do art, you can do video. So that's kind of my main theme, is to inspire people to show that creation is a natural thing for humans to do, man.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. I love that about how everyone is a creator. And you as an individual must have a lot of like traits and habits that sort of have allowed you to not only develop yourself, but meet other like-minded people and really connect with other people as well. Could you share with us maybe what are some of like your key habits and traits that have allowed you to sort of do what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Okay. You want to know daily habits? Okay.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, same time, about 8 o'clock. I'll go and I'll work out, because when I get moving and I'll do like a set workout every morning, that's a flow, and it's a time where I can kind of just not think. It's kind of just very physical. Nothing's really going on in my brain. Then I'll sit on the toilet and I'll learn Malay words. And because I'm trying to learn a language, that's a habitual thing. Because I think learning a language is a huge part to, like, it's very inspiring, man. Either ways.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll set down things. But the whole thing with having like habits, I feel like it reinforces something you're trying to do. And at the moment, I'm trying to develop, because you see Leith Hampshire. Nikko's not just a videographer, Nikko's a multi-dimensional human being. So, just like every single person, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to sidetrack slightly. I think it's very important. One of my habits, if I'm going to get back to the habits, is to not say and label that I'm a videographer. I think one of my things I try to do is get bits of other parts to incorporate into my life. Because if I'm doing videography 24/7, that's physically draining, man. So I keep my life filled with other things, so that when I come to videography, it's my passion still. I don't want to burn out that flame. Do you get me?
Definitely. And I love that, the fact that you aren't a singular, this is my title. You are looking at, actually, you are whatever you want to be, and you can actually be a master of all trades if you really focus on making that happen. That's wicked, man. That's awesome. I'd like to say, like, you've done a short career so far, but during your career there must have been some pretty challenging moments, mentally, spiritually, physically, and I'm really interested in sort of like, what was one of those big moments, and how did you, utilizing your mindset and your abilities, overcome that challenge?
Okay. So my biggest challenge for me was when I moved to France by myself. Couldn't speak any French. And what I did to overcome that was I dived into the fact that I couldn't do that. I said to myself, Nikko, you are not from here, because I couldn't integrate it very well, because I couldn't speak the language very well. So I said, well, how am I going to move forward with this? And all I said was, I'm going to be my own energy. I'm going to be my extrovert self, and I'll see how that goes. And before I knew it, I started attracting all these people who were creative and people who were very open-minded as well. But the only reason I could do that was because I was being true to who I was as such. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
I was trying to give out the intention of being like who I wanted to attract, and then I got these people to come around me, because at the time I was suffering, like being alone and not being able to communicate at that level. Like we couldn't get into a deep conversation, but just by being myself and being like unbelievably just enthusiastic about, like, damn, like I'm not comfortable, but like accepting it, diving into it, that's what allowed me to break through that as such. Like it was tough, man, for sure. Like I had days when I was like meditating on things, saying like, what the hell am I doing in this country by myself? And then that ultimately led to just huge growth, because I understood that really, like in my mind, that I could attract these people through, you know, giving out that frequency. Yeah, that's that.
Wicked, man. And like, if you were to give advice to someone who would be going through the same thing, what would be the key lesson there? That someone who might have moved to a new place, is quite uncertain, quite like in an uncomfortable space, what would be that key lesson that you could give to that person?
For me, it's to realize that it's a process. When you go there, you will feel uncomfortable, but if you adopt the mindset that this is a process and that nothing will sustain, it will not be like this forever. You will learn so much, and rather than seeing it as what it is, it's tough to explain.
Yeah,
it's gonna change, and that's the thing. Is I was there and I was very unhappy, or I was really happy sometimes. It was like this, man. But it's knowing that change is going to allow you to just push through it, and you'll pick up so much just by being open to that and knowing that this process is going to be tough and it's going to change, and just allowing it to be seeing it as a process rather than it just being what it is for what it is then.
Nice, man. So riding the process, enjoying the process, and just sort of like
be patient, man.
Be patient. Wicked. That leads really well onto my final question, which is all about how we live in a world of advice. We live in a world where people are always trying to tell us what to do and how to do it. But obviously people sort of take on board what they think is best. So could you share with me maybe what was the best piece of advice / inspiration that you've ever been given, and who was it by?
I can't tell you who it was by. I just know it's embedded in my head. I know I've said it before. It's do not listen to other people who have not done what you're trying to do. That's Zach trying to call me.
I like that. Do not listen to what other people say who are not trying to do what you do.
The reason being is because every single person's journey is different. Every single person's pathway is so different, and their reality and their perception of reality is so different. So for them to try, okay, obviously you can take bits of what they say, listen to it and take it on board, but do not let them determine your mindset in that time, because your journey is so different. Like maybe they tried it, but their circumstances under which they tried it may have not been suited to you. And so in that respect, I see everybody's journey as sacred. We should celebrate your different journeys and not, try and say to another person, like, look, you can't do that, because for sure, what I'm trying to do right now is so unique to me, but what you're trying to do as well is so unique to you. And for me to have any understanding of what you're trying to do is completely crazy, but I can only comprehend it slightly, but it's just,
I love that. Being integral to your own journey and just being focused and like self-belief there, really, isn't it? It's that like, believing in yourself enough to get through the hard times.
For sure.
Wicked, man. Nikko, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I love the suit and the glasses as well. Thank you for being part of this today. Thank you so much. Honestly, I wish you the best. It's been wicked chatting. I think everyone really enjoyed that as well. So thank you so much, buddy. Nikko is a really interesting and incredible guy. He's got a super bright future ahead of him, especially after the people that he's already worked with. And his values are core to his belief, which is amazing. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, like button below, leave a comment, and of course share the video with a friend. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much, and see you next Sunday for another episode of the 10 Minute Mindset.